What drew me to The Yellow Boat is two things. One, the entire story is taken from the perspective of this 8-year-old boy who grows up in the 80s, and he's this terribly gifted visual artist. He loves to draw, and drawing factors in hugely to his narration, and it's very fast paced, and it's all of 70 minutes, and you have this glorious affirmation of life through the eyes of a child. Benjamin is a hemophiliac, so what we are doing with this story is teaching children about things that seem scary, and there's the whole bit with doctors and everything, but what's hilarious about the show is if you read it on paper, it's it's all these big scary words of how to deal with hemophilia in the 1980s and all that, and all the anxieties that come with that. But to an 8-year-old, he's probably bored stiff, and this probably looks like some big magical circus.
Yes, I play Benjamin in The Yellow Boat. Before this, I wasn't really much of an actor. I was more of an athlete. But sudden things happen and life changes. So I first got introduced to Wilford in our theater class, and it was around that time that the senior class play was going to be produced. So he comes up to me and he's trying out for the play, and I'm like, nah, it's not my thing. I don't think I want to do it. And then I came around and he encouraged me to do it. And it ended up being a lot of fun. And it was something that I took pride in, and I really wanted to express myself through the character. So I wouldn't say that it's mainly focused around me, even though I am the face of it per se. But during the play, the actors definitely have big roles to play that makes the storyline fall into place. So Benjamin he's very inspiring to me. He uses the way he hears and the way he sees and things that he experiences, and he draws them. And to me, that's soccer. It gave me a release. And Benjamin drawing is explaining what is going on around him. And I've witnessed someone that has gone through an illness, and that the way over time it progressed them physically, emotionally, and mentally. And for me, it went from the age of 8 to 13 that I witnessed it. So it was many years that I've seen this action happen. So I think back to when I was younger, and I think back to how that person would respond in those situations that I've been put in as Benjamin.
And then I would say it's every bit as educational as an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, because it is very fast-paced. I would say it's 70 minutes long, and it does present those difficult conversations in the way that Fred Rogers did, very similar to that. So I would say that also sort of is what drew me to it, because even though it was written in the early 90s and Fred Rogers had been around for a couple of decades by that point, but it is every bit as straightforward and gentle and educational as Fred Rogers was, but it does have all the zaniness and truthful human emotion that Toy Story does.